Number 2. Spelling. In 2019, I was in some place and I told my mom about this tape because at the very end, John says the words on a spelling tape. I thought long and hard about this for several months until September of 2020 came, and I thought about uploading these clips. Before I uploaded the spelling clips, I uploaded another spelling clip from something different that we'll get to in a little bit. I uploaded all the clips from this tape, and all of them got a lot of likes. Something very impressive for me on this channel. The reason why this video is so high on this list is because this video helped me be a great speller. Like a boy named Charlie Brown and Arthur's spelling trouble, with trouble being spelled T-R-U-B-B-L-E instead of T-R-O-U-B-L-E, because poor literacy is for people who can't spell, as well as the Arthur's Teacher Trouble Living Books computer game. Now, aside from those, I actually took part in spelling bees. In fact, no joke, on my very first spelling bee, I won on the word again. Some years later, I took part in an actual spelling bee, and I did very well. I made it to the final 7 and got eliminated on the word facility, a word that I have not liked ever since. And back in the days when El Centro was in person, I did some spelling bees where I would grab a pencil and paper and write down every word that the instructor or the teacher gives me, and I write down every word to make sure that they're all spelled correctly. And I'm sure that I've been able to do that every time, along with some other classmates that spelled every word right also. Now, as for the Special Kids spelling tape, after the letters from A to Z are there, we have a scene where John shows some real-life objects to see how we can spell them. After the word bell, hey, that rhymes, bell and spell, 80 to 90% of the time that John's on screen in this position, he wears a Team Milwaukee hat. And little did I know until many years later that the show was filmed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And also, if you saw in the beginning, he read the Kenosha newspaper in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And after scenes where John shows some real-life objects, we get the first of 3 segments where John talks about letters, words, and stories, writes down 3 words that begin with the same letter, and makes a story out of them. For example, we'll use the letter A to talk about this story and use these 3 letters, or 3 words, with the same first letter. The letter A as an apple and ant. Now, what kind of story can we make with that? You gave an apple to your aunt, and she said, "Thank you." And after the first scene in here, we have our first writing and reading, where John shows a picture of something, and he writes down the words in marker, he spells them, and sometimes he'll add a remark to that describing that word. I'll show you an example of that with the first one. Here we go.
Spelling is great fun, isn't it? Let's write and read together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some pictures, and we're going to say what those pictures are, then we're going to write what those pictures are, then we're going to read what those pictures are. So we'll know pictures and words. This, you know what this is? This is a lady. L-A-D-Y. That's a lady. A lady. Ladies can be moms and sisters and just people who live next door.
See? That's an example of a remark like that, and that describes a lady like this. Spelling. Spelling. That's correct. See, I'm a great speller. Now, before we get to number 1, remember the spelling clip that I briefly mentioned earlier? Well, here it is.
Theomaki.
Oh, Ryan Pressler, I wish you won the 2019 team tournament instead of that other guy that did nothing for me. But at least you won the 2018 South Dakota Script at least you won the 2018 South Dakota Script Spelling Bee, and you came back for the high school reunion tournament. Thank God. Thank goodness. So, let's get to it. My number 1 favorite Special Kids video is Shapes and Colors. My very first Special Kids video gets the honor of being my favorite video in the entire series. I love Shapes and Colors. And ever since this video, this thing has been happening to me where every time I watch episodes of other children's shows that are about shapes and colors, whether it's just one scene or the entirety of it, I think of this video. And the crowning achievement of it comes from a scene in this episode of Barney and Friends called Classical Cleanup, where Baby Bob puts 3 blocks that are 3 different shapes away, and that was why I thought of it ever since. Well, here's the clip.
Circle, square, triangle. There, all done.
Good, Baby Bob. You picked up all the blocks and put them away so neatly.
Oh, thank you, Barney.
See, that's why I think of Special Kids Shapes and Colors every time I watch scenes like that. In 2014, I made a shirt that had 2 of my 3 favorite shapes, but while everybody else made the shirts that way, I wanted a 3rd shape in there because I wanted my top 3 favorite shapes to be on my shirt. Well, I added my 3rd shape in there, and I got away with it. So, and it's the way that the shirt was made. Now, also, this also happens when I watch color episodes or scenes, and 99.9% of the time it works. I'm looking at you, Pigment of Your Imagination. Color me bland, while everything else colors me bright. And if that wasn't enough, BJ gets his turn to shine in one of my favorite episodes of Season 5, First Things First, with one of the scenes in here that I strongly remember as much as the classical cleanup scene. Here's the clip.
Oh, cool. I drew shapes with different colored crayons. First, I made a red circle. Second, I did this yellow square. And third, I drew a green triangle. That's good, BJ.
Yeah, both BJ and Baby Bob can even things out with those scenes. Now, back to Special Kids Shapes and Colors. I have a picture in a hall that have a younger me and Sammy putting our hands on big and little rectangles. As you can see, my hand is on the big rectangle, and Sammy's hand is on the little rectangle. That was back when I had Special Kids Shapes and Colors on VHS. And I don't have it anymore, but I do have it on DVD. As you saw, a lot of my DVD uploads of it. I also did William Weyser Draws Shapes using the exact same line of dialogue for all 9 shapes that were from that video. And And that was back when I did Teletubby Shapes Week. It was a fun week for that, for the most part. And all I can say is Shapes and Colors. Shapes and Colors are there every day. And every day when I see Shapes and Colors, I see this video. Now let's end this with a splash.
You see this ball? This ball is blue and it's round. And this water here, this water is blue too, but it's square. Now which one should we jump in? I think the water. All right.
John Sprecher, you have been and always will be my childhood hero. And Eric Sprecher, as well as Jeffrey, welcome to my club of special needs people. Thank you very much for all the help that you've given me to learn all of this stuff. And thank you very much for watching the season premiere of William Weyser's Charlotte Fears. We're just getting started in this season. There will be plenty more excitement for what's to come, and I'll see you next time when I talk about a recent scary event that happened to me. So, we'll see you next time for that, and I'll see you next time on William Weyser's Charlotte Fears. Until then, don't get scared.